I'd like to reflect with you on the role of questions in how we educate in faith, how we teach theology, religious education, catechesis. As teachers, it's very normal for us to be concerned about what am I going to say? What am I going to re-present, make present again to this particular group of students? And of course, it's imperative that we give them access, ready access to the richness of our Catholic Christian faith. So indeed, what am I going to teach is a tremendously important question for a teacher to ask oneself and to be clear about, and indeed have it well prepared. But I'm here to propose that almost as important as the statements we make are the questions we ask, the questions we raise with our students, because in a sense they're key to whether or not the pedagogy enables them to take that faith and to make it their own and to put it to work in the ordinary and everyday of our lives. The more we can ask questions that get deep down into young people's souls, into their spirits, into what the poet Yeats called the deep heart's core, the more likely we are to nurture them spiritually and in Christian identity. Plato of old said that the role of the teacher is to turn the soul of the student toward the true, the good, and the beautiful. Now, that was Plato's philosophy. Surely, for Christian religious educators, it's imperative that we get into people's souls and try to turn their souls toward discipleship to Jesus, or whatever it is we might be teaching in any particular lesson. Now, to engage the soul, I think you have to ask them those kind of life-centered questions. Questions around what Paulo Freire, the great Brazilian educator, called generative themes of their lives. In other words, things in their lives that truly matter, that are important to them, that will be helpful to them, that could be indeed an opportunity for them. And you can not only ask questions, but you can pose questioning activities, participative pedagogies that invite them to think for themselves, to recognize, to make decisions, and so on. So when I say questions, I don't mean just verbal questions. I mean questioning, reflective type of activities. Now, this is what we try to do throughout the Credo series. We follow a life to faith to life approach. So let me reflect briefly with you on the kind of questions you would ask at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end. Obviously, the questions at the beginning are questions that get them to pay attention around the theme, that ask them their own opinion, their own praxis, if you will. In other words, their own life experiences and their reflection upon it. So just imagine you're teaching about living as a disciple of Jesus. Very often, you can begin by asking the questions like, what do you think is the best way to live your life? What are the best values? Make a list of the 5 greatest virtues to which you aspire in your life, the ones you try to live in the ordinary and everyday, the ones that may bring happiness and truth and freedom and our authentic selves and nurture our personhood, the way we want to grow and so on. Ask them questions about what do you think is the best way to live your life? And then get them to reflect upon whatever their responses might be. Why do they think that way? What do they imagine as better ways? What do they remember perhaps from their own experience that has convinced them of these values? You can even do some social analysis in those second level of questions. How is their society or their culture or other friends influencing their opinion and so on? So the first level of questioning is get them simply to name and to express what they see going on in their own lives, and then to go a little bit deeper. The second level of questioning is going deeper and asking them why they hold that, and what do they imagine, and what do they remember, and so on. Get their own praxis and their reflection on it out on the table in that opening movements of attending and reflecting on life. Then, as you teach the faith, obviously you'll ask questions that encourage them to pay attention and to observe and to reflect upon what you're teaching. But then, as you begin to bring it back into their own lives again, that life to faith, but then back to life again, the first moment of moving back toward life is very often just inviting their own opinions, their own judgments, what they're coming to see for themselves, how they're making this their own, what difference it might make in their lives if they took it seriously. In other words, there's a kind of a transition there from the faith as they move back toward life again. Questions that basically say, to them, what are you learning? What are you recognizing? What are you seeing for yourself? Because teachers very often, at that moment, we teach the faith, and then we basically say to them, we ask questions very often, but often they're no more than, what did I say? And you encourage them then to repeat what you said. Well, there's a place for that, but this is going deeper. It's not only what did I say, but what do you really think about what I said? What's emerging for you? What are you recognizing? And at that point, it's almost more a recognition that you're looking for more than a cognition. The cognition is important, but it's the recognition that is key. And then you close whatever the day or unit might be with an invitation to decision, to make decisions. Now, the decisions can be cognitive, affective, or behavioral. And of course, in asking these kind of questions, you have to be very respectful of people's privacy and never invade that and so on. But you can get them to journal, to write it out, to talk to a friend perhaps when they're ready, etc. But the key in those closing questions is, what difference is this going to make? Might this make in your life? If you take it seriously, what can you learn from it for your own life? And what decisions, what kind of commitments are beginning to emerge for you? Now, they could be, as I said, they could be cognitive, and they could be just simply saying, hey, I'm going to think a lot more about this. But the key is to get them to come out to whatever their own learning might be in that final level of questioning. Life to faith to life and good questions, it can work like a charm. Thank you.